today. There are many other places I could have been, but I am thrilled that this is where the Lord has brought me today. I received a text from Dr. Moore at about 8 o'clock last night saying that he was praying for me, and he asked me to bring his greetings to you. Even if he didn't ask me to do that, I would have greeted you in the name of our Lord and in the name of your pastor emeritus, and to express my thanks for the opportunity to minister to you. Last night, as I was riding an Uber back from the airport to my home, I was reading a tribute to Richard Smallwood, and the person said that when he first heard Total Praise, it was not in a concert hall, it was in a small church. And he said even before the introduction was finished, people began to weep because of the mastery of Richard Smallwood. What a gift. And for people like me who play around on the keyboard, I'm a little jealous that the thing that happened to Elisha didn't happen to me. You know, when Richard goes, I wish that I got a double portion of what he got. But maybe your musicians did. My name is Michael Friday, and I am glad to be with you on Sunday. I am the executive minister of the American Baptist Churches of Greater Indianapolis, 38 congregations that comprise various ethnicities and languages and heritage. And I am thrilled to be your executive minister. And I'm glad for your support, your prayerful support, your people support, and your gifts and presents, PRESENCE and PRESNTS, since we have just completed Christmas. We're grateful for Sister Crystal Hart, who serves on one of the teams, the finance team, along with us. And I am happy to be asked to share God's word with you today. Would you stand as I read a portion of scripture from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2. I'll read some select verses 1 through 3, 7 through 9, and 12 and 13. And I read from the New International Version. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. Verse 7, then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. Verse 12, and after having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." The word of the Lord for the people of God. Be seated. It is 4:59 p.m. on March 27, 1977. And we are in the Canary Islands. Wouldn't you like to be there now? And we are on Tenerife, one of the smaller islands, at the airport, a minor airport, because the major airport on the main island had just been bombed by terrorists, and all flights have been diverted to Tenerife. And because all the flights have been diverted there, it is a congested airport, the weather is bad, and flights that usually would taxi on the apron have to be taxiing and taking off on the same runway because the apron is crowded with aircraft. The KLM flight 4805 and the Pan Am 1736 are due to take off 1 minute or so apart from each other. The KLM captain is already late, and two things that should never happen to an airline captain happened to this captain, Captain Jacob Van Zanten. He was impatient, and he was in haste to get out of Tenerife. And because of his haste and his impatience, he misread the instructions from Control Tower and thought he had clearance to take off. He shoved the throttle forward, and 4 Pratt & Whitney engines roared to life. And Pan Am and KLM 4805 barreled down the runway at 160 miles an hour for takeoff, except that it was headed straight to Pan Am 1736, taxiing towards it on the same runway. Both aircraft crashed. Explosion. 583 people died. The investigations revealed that there was a common thread through all of those events. The common causative factor was something called power. First, the power of terrorists to mess up your life. Second, the power of bad weather which we cannot control. Third, the power of miscommunication. Have you ever been there? And fourth, the power of a man too big to be corrected. You see, the flight recorder captured the 2 other junior pilots in that cockpit asking Van Zanten, who was KLM's most senior captain and flight trainer, "Are you sure we have had clearance to take off?" "No, I'm sure. We're clear." And because of his seniority, those junior flight assistants were intimidated to challenge him any further. The result was 600 people almost dead. Of course, if you know that story well, you know that that led to a change in airline practices where, as junior as you might be, you are responsible for challenging your captain so that people don't die. When people are too big to challenge, when banks are too big to fail, and crooks too big to nail, and presidents too big to jail, economies implode, and democracies explode. Like Captain Van Zanten, people who are too big to be challenged find themselves a danger to themselves, and they become a danger to everybody else. When people who lead organizations are too big to be corrected, those organizations malfunction, dysfunction, and sometimes people even die. Like the Magoi, the people we commonly call the wise men. Whether they were 2 or 3 or 4, we don't know, but traditionally they've come to be known as 3 wise men. Like the wise men who were warned to go a different way, Captain Van Zanten heard the warning from his 2 junior pilots. Take a different way. Listen, call control tower once more and confirm, no. And people died. In the text that we read and the rest of the story, which you ought to know very well by now, there are issues of power therein, contrasting powers. And when contrasting powers meet, they clash. They clash. And there is in our text a clash of contrasting powers in this Christmas story on this 11th day of Christmas 2025 and on this 4th day of 2026. I stopped by today to warn you on this 4th day of 2026 that you are going to encounter in this year contrasting powers that will clash around you. Beware that you get in the middle of them as they clash. And I guarantee you that it will happen at one point or another to you. Let's talk a little bit about these contrasting powers in this text. In this text, we meet a powerful God who chooses a powerless female teenager to bear God's powerful son into the world. The meeting of contrasting powers. In this story, a powerful message about the birth of Jesus Christ is given to powerless shepherds on the lowest rung of the social ladder to bear the powerful news of Jesus' birth and become the first powerful evangelists of God's goodness and God's Son. In this text, a powerful king is contrasted with a powerless child of no fixed address. And this powerless child, as a human child, challenges the power of Herod just by being Jesus. In this text, a powerful, rich, greedy king whose satraps drive around in armor-plated BMWs or fly on Gulfstream jets or pose before prisons in foreign lands, to whom Herod would send John the Baptist in exile. I think you know what I mean. Here is this powerful, rich, greedy, crooked man living in a palace. And his kingdom, if you remember well, was capturing Egypt and Greece and Spain and France and Britain. It's as though Herod was an American Herod capturing Canada and Greenland and Panama and Venezuela and the Gaza Strip. And this powerful, greedy, rich crook is contrasted against a powerless, pure, teenaged, pregnant girl who has no benefits from her king, who gets no health care from her king, who gets not even a clinic or a hospital in which to bear her child. The contrasts of powers, and they're clashing around the players in it already. One more contrast. These so-called three kings come seeking Jesus to worship him. And they encounter a single king seeking Jesus to wreck him. When you have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. Not just a crooked king, but a liar of a king. Now, you may ask, what is all of this to you? I know you like the red meat, but what does it mean for you? Well, let me warn you, even before I tell you the message, because the implications are screaming to come out of me first. If you make the mistake to think that you are powerful in yourself, you are headed for a fall. What does all this mean for us? Think about the shepherds. Think about Mary. Think about the wise men. Think about the baby. Think about these powerless people who were made powerful by God. And the implication of all of this for you is that you and I, powerless people, fundamentally, I don't care what your education is. I don't care what your station in life is. I don't care what your position over an organization is. We are fundamentally powerless, and the only power we have is from God Almighty. And God has chosen to take powerless you and me to make us God's powerful ambassadors for peace. God's powerful bearers in ourselves, not just of the gospel. That's the problem. When people think that we are to bear the gospel, we must become the good news. We are implanted with the Spirit of Christ. And so we powerless people are given the powerful Christ in the Spirit who indwells us, and we must take that Jesus and that gospel into Indianapolis and into the world with the power of God. Look, I have no problem telling you that my next birthday will be in June. I was born on the 16th of June, 1900, and none of your business. I'll be 68 years old. And I have lived every single one of those years in Baptist churches. And I will tell you that Christian people ain't easy at all. I mean, after all, it is mostly Christian people who have given us our Herod. And one of the reasons we do that is because Christian people love power. Power that is not their own. And so the problem is this, that we must always remember that we are weak and that we are strong only as we remember that God gives grace to the humble, but the proud God takes down. I want you to notice one more thing about this text. You notice that the wise men are foreigners. They're non-Israelites. And I wonder if you have noticed how frequently God uses foreigners. people we call aliens, people we call the undocumented. I mean, wasn't Joseph undocumented? Wasn't Joseph a foreigner? Weren't all of his other brothers and his father Israel foreigners down in Egypt? Were not Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego foreigners in Babylon? Was not Rahab the Canaanite a foreigner, a prostitute on top of that? Was not Ruth a foreigner? Did not God use them all? Were not some of them Jesus' ancestors? All right, that's the Old Testament. What about the New? Was not the Syrophoenician woman whom Jesus teased and called, Jesus, do this for me. I can't give the bread of the children to the dogs. Testing her, not insulting her, so that her faith could emerge. Yes, Lord, but even the dogs deserve the crumbs. I have never seen such faith in Israel, Jesus says. A foreigner. What about the centurion? Wasn't he a foreigner in Israel, even though an occupier, as Venezuela is coming to realize? What about the Samaritan? A foreigner who looks down on the Jew and helps. God seems to always have a foreigner implanted somewhere for God's biggest plans. And we live in a state where the head of this state, for one of his first actions, declared diversity, equity, and inclusion dead. Well, the words might be dead to him, but the reality is fully alive. For God creates diversity. God creates equity. God is a God of inclusion. And anybody who tries to kill that is trying to kill God. Good luck with that. I wonder what if the Cherokee and the Chickasaw and the Muskogee and the Choctaw and all the others looked upon the strange-looking people who were landing on their shores and said to them, go back, you're going to poison the blood of our people. Go back, you're garbage. I wonder. And yet I know that there are people seated in pews like this all over America today who are celebrating these kinds of things. What power are they worshiping? One more thing before I move off of this contrasting powers that are in the text. Contrast doesn't always mean inequality. All right? So yes, God's power is unequal to Mary's power or to our power. But contrasting power does not always mean inequality. And I'll show you what I mean. The three wise men, rumored to be kings, meet King Herod. They're equal. In fact, these three men, if they're three, did not consider themselves beneath Herod. That is why they were able to hear God saying, don't bother with that man. Don't bother with that liar. You are not beneath him. What's the message? The moment we begin to think that we are beneath people or that we are beholden to them, we are liable to obey man rather than God. Watch out for those people in 2026 who will start saying, I have authority over you, I have power over you, and I am an authoritarian over you, and you must run by all the rules, and I make the rules, and what I say are the rules. I don't care what the bylaws or the Constitution say. I make the law. I interpret it. There are 9 people, 6 of whom lie as they misinterpret the law. And you don't have to be a lawyer to know that. People like me who spent a hot minute in law school know it. And you, with your 6th sense, know it. We, even though weak, are beholden only to God. And in the human family, we must be mutually submitted to one another. Mutual submission. The moment somebody tries to boss you around, beware, beware. They want you to obey them rather than God. We must obey God rather than man. So, look, that brings me to tell you the second little thing. We talked a bit about contrasting powers. Let's talk now about contrasting kingdoms. Contrasting kingdoms. Herod's kingdom versus Christ's kingdom. We must never make the mistake that the government of the world is the government of God. Now, I know what Romans 13 says. I know. But it's in a context. Romans 13, if you go back and read it again, expects that the government of the world would be a government that is just. Yes. And once the government of the world forgets to be just, the whole premise of Romans 13 falls apart. But people don't tell you that. We must never mistake the world's government for God's government, especially wicked governments. Because you see, wicked governments never submit to Jesus. Herod does not submit to Jesus. He wants to kill him. Wicked governments never submit to Jesus despite their talk about wanting to worship him. They will probably go to the National Cathedral when they have to and then complain about the sermon afterwards. Empire, nationalism, whether it is in Germany or anywhere else, always seeks to kill Jesus. Don't you see it? The nationalistic part of the Jews, we have no king but Caesar. That's their nationalism kicking in. They forgot that they were God's people conveniently. We have no king but Caesar. So they returned to their nationalism in order to send Jesus to the cross. Nationalism literally killed Jesus in Israel. I wonder if nationalism in America is figuratively and ideologically and theologically and sociologically killing off Jesus. That's a question for you to answer. We have a problem, Houston. So Christ's kingdom, watch it now, is a kingdom of truth. We beheld his glory, glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. What is Herod's kingdom based on? When you have found him, bring me word again that I too might go and worship him. Lie. Truth against lie. The kingdom of Christ, truth. The kingdom of the world, lies. Always. The kingdom of Christ, righteousness and liberation. Herod's kingdom, corruption, oppression. The kingdom of Christ cleanses. The kingdom of Herod corrupts. And corrupt people always try to corrupt other people. Just as Herod tried to corrupt the three wise men. But they were wise, that's why. Christ's kingdom is a kingdom of life. Herod's kingdom is a kingdom of death. He gave orders to kill all the children. The text says in a part we did not read, verse 16. Now, I don't know if it was done. The history books say that there was no record of a massacre of infants, but the fact is that Herod gave the order. Somebody scuttled it, but he gave the order. It tells us where his heart and his mind was. You know, it is as if maybe if Herod had a USAID, he would have canceled it. They say that 94 million people across the world have either died or are due to die because of the cancellation of USAID. If Herod had SNAP, he would have shut it down. They say that about I mix up the numbers. It's about 14 million people around the world who are due to die or would die from the cancellation of USAID. 93 million Americans over the next 10 years will be endangered because of the cancellation of SNAP. That's Herodian. What about the ACA? Have you checked your premiums lately? Herod. You think Herod is just a character in a text? These texts are timeless. They're to warn us about today. Let me. Many people miss this one. You remember right in the beginning of the text when Jesus was born. And the news came, when Herod heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Let me expose this text for you. Herod was troubled, and the trouble he had was not the same trouble that all Jerusalem had with him. Let me see if I can put this better to you. When Israel heard that Herod was troubled, they knew that they should watch out for the following morning to see what kind of crazy texts Herod would have texted about them. They knew that they would need to look out to find out who next was going to be They knew that they were in trouble once Herod was troubled. We're talking about powers. We're talking about the clash of powers. And we're not talking about something from 2,000 years ago. We're talking about today, what you are going to face in 2026. Wake up. So all of Jerusalem knew that it was time to be afraid because of Herod's erratic behavior. Who would he execute next? Who would he indict next? So I want to warn you, my friends, that the kingdom, the world's power, the kingdom of the world and its power are highly seductive. Highly seductive. Christian people will excuse any bad behavior if their objective is to get close to power. Now, if you didn't hear that, hear this. A few years ago, I went back to school, and I did some postgraduate study in leadership, organizational leadership. I almost fell out of my chair, but I recovered quickly. Because what I heard that almost made me fall out of my chair was something I know I had seen all of my conscious years living in Baptist churches in several parts of the Caribbean and several parts of the USA. Do you know what I heard? Her name is Lipman Blumen. I forget her first name. She is a leadership guru. You can Google her when you go home, or maybe not right now, but when you go home. I know. Lipman Blumen, in her research, said, quote, "People like bad leaders." Continuing the quote, especially religious people. And I began to think about this. Maybe the reason for that is because religious people, some of the first powerful people they meet, are some rascals in the Bible. Moses, powerful murderer. Jacob, powerful rascal. And so on and so forth. Samson, David. How many wives again? People like bad leaders. And I said it earlier, but I say it again. The reason we have an American Herod is primarily due to many people of faith. Faith. You'll be surprised to know how many well-studied leaders believe that Herod is a Christian. When Jesus says, by their fruit shall you know them. This is not about Herod, you know. I know you like, as I said, you like the red meat, but this is about you and me. How do we navigate? And I'm coming to that now. I'm coming to that now. Because you see, Mary and Joseph and Jesus give us an example of how to cope with power. How to cope with abused power. So what do Mary, Joseph, and Jesus do? They give us 3 simple, unforgettable steps that are executed twice in the text. Once, when their future seemed dark and threatened, and once, when the coast was clear. Let me read verses 13 to 15 for you again. An angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up! You hear that? Get up, he said. Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Translation, get out! Stay there until I tell you. Translation, get set! For Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. When people, if you forget everything else, remember this. When in 2026, people around you get drunk with power, whether it is from the White House to the church house, when they get drunk with power, follow the strategy of Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. Get up, get out, get set. Get up, get out, get set. Don't fight it. Don't even try to match it because you're going to lose. Don't even try to kill it. Get up, get out, get set, because the Lord will clear the way for you. He whom you often say of him, he makes a way where there is no way. But wait, it's not over. While Joseph, Jesus, and Mary were in Egypt, getting set. In other words, go down there, wait until I tell you the coast is clear. Wait, what was happening up north in Israel as they were down south in Egypt? According to verse 19, Herod died. Herod died. Now here's a word of comfort. If you're oppressed or harmed or abused by corrupt power, they're gonna die. I am not wishing it. I am not hoping it. I may have just lied to you. But I'm just telling you that it will happen. They're gonna die. They're gonna die. Herod died. Regardless of all of his riches, regardless of all of his power, he may have held on to it to the last breath, but even in his dying breath, God snatched it away from him. They're going to die. And then the second round kicks in. Get up. Get out. Get set. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, that's verses 19 and 20, get up, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel. Translation, get out. For those who are trying to take the child's life are dead. So he got up, took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. Get set. But you see, the first get set is to wait. To wait. I know waiting looks like it's a waste of time sometimes, but wait. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew this. Those who rush it shall, like Captain Van Zanten, kill themselves and others. Wait. But the second get set is now that you come out of Egypt, you've got out. You've got up, you've got out. Get set. The purpose for which you are born is about to unfold. And you must take hold of your life and run. Run. They that wait shall run. They'll wing their way on the winds of God's power. So sometimes, my friend, getting up, getting out, and getting set, when trouble swings low, sour chariot, threatening to carry you home, just wait. And God will give you the all clear to get up, get out of where he has hidden you in the cleft of the rock, where he hides your soul. And he will say, get set, get busy with the purpose for which God has birthed you. I don't know what time it is for you today. No one size fits all. I don't know if where you are today is the place where there is the clashing of powers around you, and you just need to get up, get out, and go hide somewhere that God places you to get set. I don't know if you've been there already, in which case maybe today is the day that you need to get up, get out, and get set. Come out from where you're hiding. Lay your hands on the purpose for which God has birthed you. I don't know which it is for you. It may not be the same thing for your neighbor next to you. It may not be the same thing for your spouse next to you. But I do know that whatever it is, whether you are to get up, get out, and get set to hide somewhere away from the fray, or it is now time to get up, get out, and get set out of the hiding place, to go forward into God's purpose. All I know is that for either of you, your response must be the same. I am weak and I need thy strength and power to help me over my darkest hour. Sing with me. Let me through the darkness thy face to see. Lead me, O Lord. Lead me, guide me. Lead me, guide me.